Hi, ladies and gentlemen. In this step, we're going to set up the handheld contact software that needs to be installed on the desktop computer or your computer that holds your Act data so we can synchronize it and set it up to synchronize with handheld contact on your mobile device. Now, in this particular case, I use an iPhone, so I'm going to talk from that perspective. I'm going to come down to the bottom. I'm going to find handheld contact. As I start typing it in, it's right there. And when handheld contact opens up, it is going to remember the last database that I had open with Act. And that was my Act Clever database. And to illustrate that, there it is right there. That is my Act username right here. And now I'm going to type in my password for this database. And I'm going to press Next. At this point, it's going to connect to the Act Clever database and get me inside. It's going to ask me again for that same information, so I'm going to type it in again. I'm going to click Next. And I'm going to, for now, not worry about this information here. It's going to log in a second time. Okay, excellent. So now, when you set up your handheld contact free trial, you set it up with an email address and a password. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to type this in and my password so that I can get connected to my handheld contact account. Bear with me just a second. And I'm going to click Next. So now we've got it into the database. Now we're getting into handheld contact. And at this point, I'm going to be taken through a little bit of a wizard to ask me what I want to do. Now, in this particular case, I recommend, at least initially, synchronize all of your contacts in your database. That's the easiest thing to do just to get you up and running. I'm going to click Next. I'm going to have some options here, but I can change these later if I want to. So it's asking me, what kind of activities do I want to synchronize? Well, in my Act database, I don't really use the to-dos and I don't really use appointments, but for now I'll leave to-dos on. I have appointment, personal activity, and vacation. I'm going to ignore those. As far as things starting, well, we can say 1 week ago, but I'm going to go 8 weeks ago. Let's go back as far as we can, and I'm going to say let's do all for everything scheduled into the future. And they're only for things scheduled with me. Now, because this particular database, I'm the only user, that's somewhat irrelevant. I'm going to click Next. Now, we can synchronize the notes and histories, but in total, I can only do 5. In other words, I can do 5 notes or 5 histories, but I can't exceed 5 of each of these. Now, in the newer version of Handheld Contact, this is a non-issue. But I'm going to click on the drop-down, and I'm going to say the notes. I'm going to say the 2 most recent, and the histories, I'm going to say the 3 most recent. So that's my total of 5. I can go through the different types of things I want down here. For now, I'm just going to let it be what it is, and I'm going to click Next. This allows me to add some additional fields in my database. So if I've got fields that I customize, I can add them here. For this moment, I'm going to ignore these. I can come back to this if I need to. Synchronize opportunities. If I use sales opportunities, I can synchronize those. For those, right now, I'm not going to synchronize. And at this point, I'm going to click Finish. Okay, so that was actually pretty easy. The hardest part, in my opinion, is just remembering your usernames and passwords for not only Act, your database, your username and password for that, but also when you set up your free trial of Handheld Contact, you needed to set that up as well. At this point, we are going to send our first synchronization. And to do that, I'm going to come over here on the left-hand side, and I'm going to click on Sync Now. And I want you to watch what happens down at the bottom, down here. When I initially started this, and now there's going to be over 5,000. So as this runs through down below, you'll see it will take a little bit of time, not too much, but it will take a little bit of time in this initial sync because there's more than 5,000 contacts that are being sent. So I'm going to pause this video for a moment, and when it completes, I'll bring it back on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so that's synchronization between my desktop Act Clever database and my handheld contact app took about 4 minutes. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to drag this up just so you can see it a little bit more clearly. What it did at this point is it retrieved some information, very little because I haven't done that much on the handheld contact device, but it sent 5,375 contacts, 20 activities, some histories, no opportunities, and it finished it at 9:41. It was about 4 minutes to get that done, about 4.5 minutes. So when you do syncs in the future, they're not going to take that long. And the synchronizations from this software are set to happen on a regular basis. So you basically, once you've done the setup, you can close this and completely forget about it. And that, in one way, is what I find so intriguing about handheld contact. Once you set it up, it just works. And if by chance you have to come back here and do this again, I guarantee you're going to forget how to do it. It's only because you do it once and you don't have to touch it again. So it's almost like you forget this is even here or even on your computer. So once you go through this initial setup, you're good. You don't have to come back here. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tony Holowitz. You have a great day. Bye now.